Hey, what's up guys, Starry Ray here and welcome back to another NFL video. Today we're going to be doing divisional round picks. So now if you saw my last wildcard picks, you know that my bracket was automatically broken the second game in when the Chargers lost and I had the Chargers going to the Super Bowl. I did a reaction to all the wildcard games, so make sure you go check those out if you haven't seen them. But yeah, that was really, just kind of sad and just kind of heartbreaking that automatically my bracket was broken so fast. And yeah, now we get a chance to redo our bracket with these divisional round picks. Before we get into the picks, make sure you like and subscribe so you do not miss out on any more NFL content. I'm going to be doing predictions as the games go on, and I'm going to do recaps as well, so make sure you subscribe if you enjoy my content. So let's go ahead and talk about the divisional round, the Chiefs versus the Jaguars. So the Jaguars had that amazing comeback against the Chargers, and yeah, that was really fun to see, something that I didn't expect to see. It was really surprising because I mean it looked awful. It really looked awful, but the Chargers had just a crazy collapse where I think that once the Jaguars started to do a comeback, it got into their head. I know it 100% got in the head of Nick Bosa, who cost him the game for real. But yeah, the offense really stuttered. It didn't get any more, it just didn't have any fluidity anymore. Too many 3-and-outs, too many fast 3-and-outs. Yeah, the Chargers really collapsed, and give credit to the Jaguars, who have had a good defense and continue to have a good defense in that game, where it didn't start off good, but it picked up once the game settled. The Jaguars settled into this game. It got a lot better, and the Jaguars looked like the better team. So now let's go ahead and talk about the Chiefs, who have been resting. So the last game the Chiefs played was against the Broncos, a divisional matchup, and in that game it was kind of close, 24-27. In this close game, I feel like the biggest thing for the Chiefs is their defense. Offensively, we know that they can put up numbers. Now they can stutter at times, and sometimes Patrick Mahomes does make mistakes, and we did see them offensively struggle in that Texans game in the regular season, where it actually went into overtime. They did win that game in overtime, but we have seen the offense struggle. But I think what really comes down to this game is the defense of the Chiefs, who hasn't been great. I'll say that it's been decent at times, but it is their weakest part of their team. If you look back at the Chiefs schedule and you look to see when they played some of the top quality teams that are in the playoffs, they did struggle. The defense struggled, and both offenses really scored a lot of points. For instance, the Chargers scored 27, the Bengals scored 27, the Bills scored 24, the Buccaneers scored 31. So all these teams that they've played that were in the playoffs, they've allowed them to score more than 20 points. So that's kind of scary for Kansas City. Their defense is something that is very questionable, and we know that the Jaguars have a good defense. We know that their offense can be really good as well. ETN is a standout, obviously. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see this matchup. One of the main benefits that the Chiefs have is that they do have Patrick Mahomes, who is kind of a cheat code. In all those games where I talk about the playoff teams scoring a lot of points on their defense, the Chiefs have actually been able to keep up with that scoring, and they have won a majority of those games. Patrick Mahomes is a game changer, and he's someone that is, just like I said, a human cheat code. He can basically do everything on the field. So yeah, Patrick Mahomes is a humongous and one for them. It's the biggest X factor for this team, especially when their defense is bad. And yeah, I think that's gonna be what really saves them in this game. We know he's really good in the playoffs as well. Man, it's really hard for me to go with the Jaguars when I just know how good the Chiefs are in the playoffs and everything. And yeah, I'm gonna be taking the Chiefs, but it wasn't something that I'm very easy taking. I do think the Jaguars have a ton of momentum, especially after that comeback win. I think that their team is going to be hot, but I'm going to be taking the team that's been proven, and the team that has been has more experience in the playoffs, and that really relies on to Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. So yeah, I'm going to be taking the Chiefs, but I actually think that this one can be kind of close. I think the Jaguars, like I said, they're going to have the momentum, and I feel like they're going to maybe come out a little hotter. I don't know, it really depends. I'm not really scared for the Chiefs, so I think they're going to win this game, but it could be maybe I don't know, a 21-24 type of game, but I'm going to be taking the Chiefs. After that is the Bills versus the Bengals. Now this is a glorious matchup. We really wanted to see this matchup on Monday night to close out the season, but we had the whole Damar Hamlin situation. Prayers that he is healthy now, and that's really good. But yeah, we did lose out on this matchup, and I'm not even mad that we did, because obviously that situation takes more precedent than the game game, but now we get to see it, and now it's in the divisional round. It's a playoff game. There's gonna be, it's gonna be interesting because the Bills have struggled. They struggled against the Dolphins, which was, interesting. Because I feel like it's gonna really come down on Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen, he had a few interceptions and everything, and he's continued this whole season, been throwing pretty questionable interceptions, and now it's gonna come down to that again. The Bills defense is somewhat on the lines of the Chiefs defense, like I talked about that. They're not bad, but they're also not really good either. They're just kind of decent at times, but they can be exploited. And the Bengals are a team that I feel like are gonna really exploit their defense. I really do like the offensive power that the Bengals have. Now in the Bengals wildcard game, it was a divisional matchup, so obviously the scoring and just the efficiency wasn't really there, but that's to be expected because it is a divisional matchup. These two teams know each other. They know what they're gonna do. I really give them a pass, the Bengals, for kind of struggling at times and kind of having 3 and outs and not really having that explosive offense that we saw in the regular season. It's to be expected with divisional matchups, especially so when the last time they played each other was on the last regular season game. So obviously they knew each other. They were just preparing another game. And now for this game, it's going to be interesting because we saw a glimpse of it on Monday night, and the Bengals looked really good. Like they were really in that one drive. I think they had one drive or maybe 2 drives, but yeah, they looked really good, and it looked like they were gonna kind of have a really good first quarter. That's all I'll say because we only saw one first quarter, one real drive from them. So I don't want to go on the limb and say they were gonna win that game because we gotta give credit to Josh Allen, who's been playing really good this year as well. But yeah, the Bengals looked, I want to say, perfect. That first drive, it looked really good. And for me, I'm going to be taking the Bengals in this game. And the reason why I'm taking the Bengals is because they did look good against the Ravens, but they also looked good when they played the Bills on that Monday night game that we didn't get to see. But I also just like that I feel like they have a little bit more momentum. I think that Bills' close game to the Dolphins kind of showed that they do have glaring flaws. Part of that is the defense, but part of it is offensively as well, that Josh Allen can be just a loose cannon at times, and sometimes they can be really stagnant. So with that being said, I'm going to be taking the Bengals. I kind of just trust them a little bit more right now than I do the Buffalo Bills, so I gotta take the Bengals. This game could be very exciting though. I think that this one is going to be very personal. Obviously the Monday night situation happened, so I think there's going to be it's going to be weird. I think the vibe of this game is going to be weird for sure, but I'm going to be taking the Bengals. I think they win this one. I think it's going to start off slow and then pick up towards the end, probably in the second half, maybe around the third quarter, towards the end of the third quarter. I think that's when this game starts to pick up. And I trust Joe Burrow and the Bengals more than I do the Bills right now, so I'm going to be taking the Bengals. After that is the 49ers versus the Cowboys. Now this game is really hard to pick because the 49ers played an amazing game in the second half against the Seahawks, and the Cowboys played an amazing game throughout on Monday night against the Buccaneers. For me, what this game comes down to is the 49ers defense. I think if the 49ers defense continues to be just really amazing as we have been able to see this whole season, I think the Dallas Cowboys struggle. Now, I think they may be able to, have some moments like the Seahawks did, but I feel like when it comes down to really towards the end of the game, when the 49ers need to get a stop, that I feel like they're going to be able to, and I feel like they're going to put the pressure on the Cowboys. And there's also the factor that the Cowboys played on Monday night and then they got to play this weekend, so they really haven't had that much time to really prepare and just kind of rest and everything, where the 49ers have, they played Saturday. So it's going to be interesting. They get a little bit more extra time. That's the downfall of having a Monday night game, but that's just the way the NFL did it. So yeah, the 49ers have that benefit of playing early, and the Cowboys have that disadvantage of playing late. However, I think that the Cowboys are not automatically someone that you could disqualify. They played amazing, and I said in the wild card round, where if the Cowboys win against the Broncos, that they're going to be hot, and I predicted that they're going to be hot and they're going to take that momentum into the divisional round, and I really do think that they're going to be able to take that momentum. Now it comes down to the 49ers being able to just take in that momentum and then stop it, because I feel like they're going to start off hot, and then after that it's going to be able to see if the 49ers can really just quench that hotness. Offensively for the 49ers, I don't have any worries. Brock Purdy showed a lot to me, and they just have so many weapons that they can do anything. They can really do anything offensively. They can run it, they can pass it. Brock Purdy can make plays. I'm not really worried about Brock Purdy. Now it depends on if Michael Parsons and just everyone else is going to put pressure on him. But even then, I'm not that worried because they could just run it. They could do short passes to just get rid of that. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting. It's going to be a fun matchup to see. But I'm not worried about Brock Purdy offensively, and defensively for the 49ers, that's not an issue at all. And offensively for the Cowboys, I have no worries as well. I think Dak Prescott is locked in. Brett Maher is going to be a question mark for sure. But I think he plays better. I think that's kind of a fluke game. It may be in his head, but I don't know. I don't think that's going to be a problem in this game. If it is, it's going to be crazy. But that's something that you really can't just expect to happen again. That was just so crazy. And defensively for the Cowboys, I am actually going to be a little interested to see what they do. Now, we're already talking about Michael Parsons, but the secondary and everything, it's going to be interesting to see because Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, they couldn't get anything really going. They really couldn't get anything going. Every time they pressured Tom Brady, it threw off everything. Now, we got to see if they're going to be able to pressure the 49ers and Brock Purdy. That's going to be something to see, but like I already said, they already have kind of a few options to do it. They could do dump off passes, short passes. They have Kittle. They have a lot of offensive weapons, and that is scary to me. That's really, really scary to me if I'm the Cowboys. So yeah, I'm going to be taking the 49ers just because they're so stacked. They look like a really, really good team, and yeah, they're like really a well-rounded team. So I'm going to be taking the 49ers. But also, I do like the Cowboys. They have a certain momentum about them. They have a certain swagger about them right now. But I just got to go. I'm going to go with the safe pick on this one, and I'm going to take the 49ers. After that is the Eagles versus the Giants. This is going to be a fun divisional matchup. In the last game of the regular season, these two teams did match up. And in that game, I don't think Jalen Hurts played bad. Now, there's a lot of people saying Jalen Hurts didn't look like an MVP, and he struggled. There was some obviously missed time throws and everything, but that's to be expected. He missed 2 games. He's dealing with that injury. That's to be expected. I give him a pass for it. I'm not worried about Jalen Hurts. He's had a time to really rest and heal that injury. I see people really stressing about that, and I don't think it's going to be an issue. The only thing is, I think that there's going to be just maybe a little bit of rust, maybe more timing issue, because obviously they've had time to really rest. Obviously they're going to be practicing and everything, but still, once you get into a real game, it's different. It's really, really different. So I think that can be an issue where he's just he's not really going to be in sync with his receivers and everything. But injury wise, I'm not worried about Jalen Hurts at all. I think he's going to be fine, especially in that Giants game. He was running, he was putting his body on the line, not crazy, but he was doing it. He did at times look scared to get hit, but I'm not going to really worry about that injury. And now when it comes to the Giants, I think that they're red hot. I believe that they 110% believe that they can win this game. I feel like the Giants are super, super confident, and they should be. They really should be, because they're a really good team, and what they did against the Vikings was very impressive. And now for this game, I'm going to be taking the Giants. Like I said, they're red hot. I think that they have all the momentum. I feel like they believe that they can win this game. So for me, what this game is going to come down to is the Eagles. I'm really going to be curious about what the Eagles are going to do offensively and defensively, because their defense is really good, I would say, but it has moments where it bends a lot. I feel like it bends a lot, and they're going to allow the Giants to really get some plays off, but when it comes down to the end, are they going to break? Is their defense going to break? I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. I like their defense, but like I said, it bends a lot. I think the Giants are going to be able to have some really splash plays, and I feel like they're just going to take that momentum from that Vikings game into this game, and that's really the struggle for the Eagles. I think they're going to need to really kind of damper the Giants' momentum early on, because if the Giants are able to get a hot start and put up points really fast and everything, I think that the Giants just continue to roll. I really do think that they're going to be able to continue to roll, and I think the Eagles offensively may start to struggle a bit. They do have some really, really great weapons. I love Miles Sanders and I love AJ Brown and Dallas Goedert. They have pieces offensively. I think that it's not going to be really an issue about if they're going to be able to put up points and everything. It's just going to be how effectively and efficiently they're going to be able to do it, because I think that having time off is really going to affect them a little bit. I think that Jalen Hurts may struggle a little bit in the beginning. I think he picks up towards maybe the middle of the game when things start to settle down. I think Jalen Hurts starts to play better, but at that point, are the Eagles going to be so hot? It really depends. It really depends, but I'm going to be taking the Giants on this one. I trust them a little bit more right now. I think that they have all the momentum, and I think that they really are just on par with the Eagles right now. I really do believe that. And yeah, I'm going to be taking the Giants. I believe in them and Dabble and Daniel Jones and everything that they did, especially against what they did against the Vikings. So to recap my divisional round picks, I'm taking the Chiefs, I'm taking the Bengals, I'm taking the 49ers, and I'm taking the Giants. So that means in the conference championship, I have the Chiefs versus the Bengals, and I have the 49ers versus the Giants. Now, we already talked about these teams, so I'm going to go ahead and just go into my picks, and I'm going to be taking the Bengals against the Chiefs. I think this game is going to be very, very fun, and it's kind of a repeat of last year, but I'm going to be taking the Bengals again, man. If they get this far, I think offensively they're going to be really, really good. We already said that the Chiefs have struggles on defense, so yeah, I'm going to be taking the Bengals. And for the 49ers versus the Giants, I'm going to be taking the 49ers. So that means in the Super Bowl, I will be having the Bengals versus the 49ers. And in this game, in this matchup, I'm going to be taking the 49ers. My Super Bowl champions are going to be the 49ers. So yeah, those are my predictions, and that is my bracket. Make sure you leave a comment, tell me how you feel about my picks and how you feel about my bracket with the 49ers going to the Super Bowl, and tell me what game you're looking forward to the most this weekend. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.